This is David with Corel Trainer.
This is Cassie Green from Apparelist.
This is Gordon and Firemark from the Entertainment Law Update.
And you're listening to
Two Regular Guys Podcast.
Hosted by
Terry Combs RG, regular guy.
and Aaron Montgomery.
The place to be for industry news.
The best dad jokes on earth, along with relevant topics to apparel decorating.
Prepare for the wild.
All right, we are finally here. Welcome into the Two Regular Guys. It is Friday the 13th. That must be what has got us a little bit out of sorts here this morning. But anyways, my name's Aaron Montgomery. I'm with our Success Group, and my job is to inspire you to fall in love with your business. And today we're going to have Rodeo Bo from Condi. He's going to be joining us to talk about being punk rock in a corporate world. On top of the technical issues I had, my computer decided to restart about 30 minutes ago, and it just finally restarted. I have no idea. It's never done that before, ever. So lots of new fun things today, but I am rolling solo today. Both Eric and Terry are out sick. So let's send them well wishes for a speedy recovery. And I know for Terry, he's going to be heading out to Printing United next week. And so I told him, well, you better be healthy because I want to hang out with you. But if you're sick, I'm not going to do it. So yeah, he's trying to recover, and Eric's still recovering as well. So excited for today, though. We're going to talk to Bo. Also, we have our go-to here, and Cassie Green from Apparelist is going to be on in just a moment to share the news with us. And so I'm excited about that in just a moment, but I also want to remind you guys to stay till the very end. I've whipped up another batch of secret sauce for you all today, and I'm going to talk about strategies to be more effective in managing your time. So that'll be happening at the end of the show here today, and excited to share that with you. But speaking of excited, I'm excited to bring in Cassie, finally get this rolling here. And so without further ado, here is Cassie Green from The Apparelist.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. And yes, good Friday the 13th. I read somewhere that this is the last Friday the 13th in October until 2028, so we should be good to go after this. Headlines for you guys this morning. First one, Gildan partners with the South Carolina Aquarium to support education. Gildan announced that it has partnered with the South Carolina Aquarium in Charleston to support its education programs that will directly benefit students in the region, as well as help drive employee engagement for its local workforce. The company committed to donating $20,000 over the next year to enhance the aquarium's mission of inspiring conservation of the natural world. Their partnership with the aquarium aims to positively impact close to 6,000 students, many of whom attend Title I schools across South Carolina. This is going to be, helping provide free education on topics such as natural habitats, food chains, adaptations, watersheds, Earth's history, and so much more. So really cool feel-good story to kick things off this morning. Second headline I have for all you regulators this morning. Next Level Apparel founder Joe Simsley comes out of retirement to serve as interim CEO. So Next Level Apparel, obviously known for its blank apparel, welcomes founder Joe Simsley back as he comes out of retirement to serve as the interim CEO. The leadership switch follows the departure of Randy Hales, who was the previous CEO. So a little bit of backstory here for all of you. In November 2020, Simsley and Hales were appointed as co-CEOs, and then in August of 21, Simsley officially retired and Hales took over as CEO. Simsley remained on the company's board of managers and a significant shareholder in the business. At the time that we put together this story, Next Level was unavailable for comment, but we'll try and keep everybody updated on any more changes. Final headline for all of you this morning. This is a really fun one. I really love this one for so many reasons. NFL launches adaptive apparel collection. So for the first time across any of the major professional sports leagues, the National Football League has launched an adaptive and assisted apparel capsule collection. This is according to a report shared by Sports Business Journal. The launch is for all 32 teams in the league, and it features clothing made with accessibility in mind. It's designed to be more accessible for those who find it difficult to dress or those with sensory sensitivities to certain textures or materials. The collection was designed by G3. It includes short sleeve t-shirts, long sleeve t-shirts, crew necks, sweaters, hoodies. But all of these have unique features hidden in wider openings, magnetic closures, bungee cords, extended pullers, and magnetic connectors for zipper closures. Just really cool. We are starting to see a lot more adaptive apparel come into the industry, which is really neat. All of you know we have done quite a bit of work in this area of the industry, so I'm really excited to see where this goes. Before I let you all get back to Erin, I'm really excited to see all of you at Printing United Expo next week. So if you are there, come find me. I would love to personally meet you. I will be in the apparel zone, the Future State Theater. Would love to chat in person. There's my shameless plug. Thanks, Erin. Back to you.
All right, I love it. Great headlines. Let me adjust the camera a little bit here too. Man, everything's a little bit off. All right, we're good. We're back. So yes, Cassie, that was fantastic. Great headlines there. Great mix of stuff. And as Cassie said, we would love to see you out there in person, live. Let me see if I find that banner one more time here. Decorators.inc/expo. Come on out to Atlanta. It's going to be a great time. It's happening starting next Wednesday, the 18th. So 18th through the 20th, and going to be fantastic. I think I got that right. All right, cool. So decorators.inc, INK, for those of you tuned in to the audio side of this, /expo to check that out. All right. Well, we've got plenty more to go here. Let me just see who all's checking on. I haven't even had a chance to check the comments yet this morning. We got Kingsbury Crafts checking in, going to be listening in. Chuck from 80 and sunny in Central Florida this morning. Excited to hear what Rodeo Bo will bring us. Excellent. Yeah, I am as well. And good morning, Ramona. Good morning, Sheila. Yes, I hope that they get better soon as well. So I could use their help. and they're just good guys that I want them to get better. So good morning, Michelle. Good morning to Betty. Excellent. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Again, if I'm kind of looking off to the side here, just kind of keeping things rolling. So appreciate your patience on that. But even though Terry's not here, even though Eric's not here, maybe Bo will have his own coming up soon, but we'll let him bring that if he wants. But for now, I do have a dad joke for you guys. So if you guys are ready, I'm going to go ahead and share a dad joke with y'all. All right, I was going to try to do the banners and all that stuff, but you know what? I'm just going to deliver. Here we go. Why is a calendar always so scared? Because it knows its days are numbered. All right, so let the groans, let the moans happen. And yes, indeed, good times. All right, well, before we dive in, guys, I do want to thank you guys for checking out the Two Regular Guys podcast, for the patience with us this morning. We've got some new intros coming soon, but we could also use more voices. We want to keep it fresh and keep updating those. And so if you'll head over to decorators.inc/intro, and it'll walk you right through it. You just read a couple of lines, share who you are, where you're from. If you want to ad lib a little bit, right? Make fun of us, share something funny, whatever it is for you, that's fine. Just go to decorators.inc/intro. We are always looking for new guests. And so if you or somebody you know would like to be a guest on our show, you can join us over at calendly.com/two regular guys. And I'm not going to find the banners on any of this stuff. So we're just going to leave it as is. But just go to Calendly, calendly.com/2 regular guys. Or you can email us info@two regular guys with your show ideas as well. So if you're listening to the podcast version of this show, we would appreciate you sharing. Just get out there and share. Let's get some more people in here to hear from Bo. This is going to be a great segment here. He's so prepared. He had so much great content for us that this is probably just going to be part one of part many. So I'm excited. But get out there, share this with all of your friends out there, and make sure they become regulators too. We'd also appreciate any reviews you can give us on any of the podcast platforms, the Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Podcast, YouTube Podcast, wherever you do your podcast listening. Just head over there and say, hey, these guys are great. The dad jokes are terrible, or whatever it is for you. The dad jokes are great. Aaron's not so good, but their guests are, right? Whatever it is, like, just however that fits for you guys, go over there and share. So without further ado, I am going to bring in Mr. Rodeo Bo, and we'll bring him onto the stage here with me. And Bo, and I'm going to try the last name and make sure I get it right. Bo Betzler. Hello. Awesome.
Hello.
How are you,
doing,
sir?
Aaron?
I'm good now that you're here. All right.
I can say that this has been very weird being backstage for the first time ever. You know, I've done a lot of lives. I've never seen this side, and it's interesting.
Yeah, definitely. Here, let's see if I can even fix
Thank you for having me, Aaron. And before I ask how you're doing, I want to know what does the movie Titanic and Sixth Sense have in common?
I do not know what those two movies have in common.
I see dead people.
I knew he would bring it. All right. Well, there we go. Now you got me on track here. Thank you so much for joining us. And like you said, no buttons to hit here, no coordinating that you have to do. So I'm the one going crazy over here. Normally that's you when I've had a chance to talk to you.
Yeah,
so,
and speaking about, being punk rock in the corporate world, one of the ideas and the theories behind it all is you have to use what you have, and we had that technical glitch here at the beginning. That is something that goes on constantly in my life. Computers never work. Nothing ever works. It's not just Friday the 13th. It's also that I think brought that on.
Yes,
Sorry.
yeah. It's just part of it, right? You try to do cutting edge things. Sometimes you get cut, right? And you bleed a little bit. So, but okay. So I want to start off with just kind of digging in. The nickname Bo, where did that come from? How did that come about? But even better, this moniker of Rodeo Bo. Explain both to me, please, because I know your real name. I don't know if you share that with other people. But
yeah, I don't. Bill collectors usually that's who use my real name.
Exactly. So you know who to not. Can I speak with? So, yeah.
But my real name is Robert. My dad is also a Robert. I'm not a junior, but he goes by Bob.
Okay.
So he shortened it to Bo.
Okay.
He shortened Bob even further to Bo. And also I'm from Detroit. My parents grew up in Michigan, Detroit area, and my dad is a huge Michigan Wolverines fan and Bo Schembechler.
There you go. Okay. Yep. Familiar. Okay. Well, that makes a lot of sense. So I guess if you have a Robert, then will it just be B?
Yeah, that's what I've always said. And then they would probably be known as like the artist formerly known as Robert.
And then just start back over. Yeah. I love it. All right. Well, you have a extremely interesting take on the value of nostalgia. And so that's where we wanted to start this off.
Were we going to go with how I got Rodeo Bo?
Oh gosh. I'm so excited to get into all this. I skipped ahead. Let's talk about that first.
Gosh, this is where we're going to peak right here, and it's going to come down.
It's just falling off. All right, let's get to that.
So I've been in this industry for about 7 years now. I started off at Caesar up in Detroit, Michigan, and worked with Joe Piazza. I'm sure a lot of people know who Joe Piazza is.
Yep.
And we were doing a live. It was my first live ever, and it was with Condi. Okay. And Sprite was with Condi then. And I was nervous and everything. And I think we even had technical difficulties that day. But somebody said at some point during the live that there was a lot of ladies like saying like, this is your Rodeo Bo and all of that sort of thing. Because I think Joe said something about it during the live. So I went home and I told my wife, we goof around with each other all the time. And I was like, you better look out because all these ladies were on there were calling me Rodeo Bo and they were really excited. And she was like, that was me.
Oh my goodness.
So my wife gave me my nickname of Rodeo Bo.
There you go. Wow. What a great story. I didn't realize it was actually tied to the industry. I thought maybe it was something that, people don't know this, but I rode in my high school rodeo when I was a kid. And so, maybe I should be Rodeo Aaron. I don't know.
Yeah,
we'd have a great gang.
I've never been to a rodeo. But I think it's great for the industry because it's like, I'm giving you my rodeo. So on your first rodeo, you know what to expect.
That's right. There you go. That's perfect. Perfect in every way. All right. Well, good. That's a great story. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. now I'm ready to move on if you are here. So, right.
Yeah.
We talked about the value of nostalgia, that you have an interesting take on it. And so I want to hear about that take, and I want to hear about how it kind of impacts the work that you're doing there at Condi.
Well, I think we all have better times in our life. We all reflect on the past as always being better. You know, being a child,
Yep.
having your breakfast cereals with all the sugar, not worrying about calories or if your pants are going to fit. You know, and you're just watching cartoons in the morning, and you don't have a care in the world. You don't have to go to your job. You don't have to pay bills and all that. So
Yep.
I really think for me, nostalgia comes from that type of era
Yeah.
and mindset.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of things that like trigger that mindset to me. And do you know what the Jazzy Cup logo is, Aaron?
You know what? I'm not actually familiar with that, but
It was on all the water cups back in the 90s. The tealish blue with the purple, the swooshy lines.
Okay.
That is something to me that just triggers something. With graphic designs and stuff like that. You know what it is when you'll look at it and you'll be like, I know exactly what he's talking about.
Just went to Google, man. I'm like, oh, yep, I 100% know it. I just didn't know it was called the Jazzy Cup. There you go.
That is known as the Jazzy Cup.
Okay.
I don't know if you can share that for them on there.
Yeah, I think I will. So you keep talking, and I'll work
Everybody secretly loves the Jazzy Cup logo, whether they know it or not. Other things I've been seeing lately on social media, if you remember the like the Cherry Coke logo from the 90s.
You remember that one, yep.
And like Surge, just logos from the 90s were different. Taco Bell was different. 70s baseball jerseys were something else. Like they were on a whole other level back then. In the Pirates hat, you can get into the 90s Pistons, the Detroit Pistons, they're teal. And you can take all this sort of stuff, and then you can start using effects that they used back then. You know, Photoshop really wasn't around. It wasn't as big, and you'd have to go to Kinko. So you would often get, you know, for your zines and stuff, you would get the Xerox blurring effect, which is something that's pretty popular nowadays. People adding grains and all of that to their textures and blurs. That's pretty big. Hot Wheels are making a huge comeback. I don't know if they ever left, but they are something. If you go to the toy store and look at Hot Wheels, they're a great place to look at. Big Wheels is something. I had a Knight Rider Big Wheel when I was younger. If you remember that show.
Yep.
And I was looking on Amazon, and they have big wheels for old people now.
No way. Oh my gosh.
So you just did what nostalgia does, and it makes you smile and it makes you think. And I really do think that, you know, nostalgia is the way to really open up people and open up, you know, a whole conversation. And in the garment decoration industry, you know, ring tees, they're never going anywhere. Baseball tees, the 3/4 sleeves are never going anywhere. The football shirts that you know, like the fake football jerseys, all of those aren't going anywhere. Nice. People will always love those.
Nice. Wow. Well, I mean, just starting us off with pure gold there, Bo. That's some really good stuff. I do have the Jazzy Cup for us here. So there you go.
We've all seen it. We all love it. We've all drank out of one.
Yep.
It really does look like the like Taco Bell to me in the 90s too. It brings all of this to me.
It does. I mean, I immediately was transported back to I mean, that was you know, I was graduating high school, so perfect time for me.
It's a whole other century. It was last century.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Yep, for sure. Ramona says, I think 70s artwork is making a big comeback.
So this is something, there's a Burger King commercial, and I could sing the song almost to you, that I see all the time, and they have 3 or 4 colors in there. And I'm finding that a lot of designers are just going back to there's probably a term for it, but 3-4 color designs. But the Burger King is straight out of 70s with their color palette. And you see it during a football game, just think about it. And you'll be like, because there's a gold in there and a green, I think.
Yeah, like a
white
kind
and
of
black,
like neon green.
red.
Yep.
But it's straight out of the 70s. And we were in a restaurant, and I saw that commercial on, and I had to stop and look at it.
There you go.
Because you know, it's great.
Yeah, but what a great point for those here that in the decorators community, right? I mean, just thinking about that, to go back to those things, just take this trip down memory lane like Bo and I just did here, and that can inspire you into what people are looking for now. So that's
you know,
awesome.
there's also like the vaporwave movement and cyberpunk, and you've got like your Miami Vice, and those neon colors are always a great place to visit. We might be embarrassed that we wore some of them back in the day, but
I'd wear it again.
yeah, I would too, all day long.
Yeah. I actually wore a purple suit in high school. I like had a what was that store, like Z Cavarici or something like? I don't remember. Anyhow, all right. Well, so speaking of nostalgia and kind of trip down memory lane, your dad had a record collection.
He did.
So
Yeah.
help us with our listening preferences as well, please.
So back in the day, before MP3s and streaming, I guess we're streaming now, aren't we? MP3s. I'm dating myself on that.
Yeah, that's old. Nobody even knows what that is anymore.
Before CDs, before cassette tapes and 8-tracks, there were records that you actually had to physically spin, and they had side A and side B, so you'd have to get up and change it. But my dad was big into music back in his day, and in the 60s and 70s, there were a lot of really, really great bands. The explosion from like your Chuck Berry to your Jimi Hendrix, that era, there was a lot of great and terrible explosion of music and creativity going on. But my dad had a lot of really good albums back then. And, album covers are about 12.25 by 12.25, if I can remember correctly. And if you were to open that up, you're going to get it to the 24.5 inches. But those were a great, while you're listening to the album, you could look at the cover and the music, you could paint a picture in your head with the music, but you could also look at the cover and see how the cover relates to the music, how it makes you feel and stuff like that. And, my dad had one by this band King Crimson, in the Court of the Crimson King. And it's this, do you know this album at all, Aaron?
Mm-mm.
All right. They're a British band from 1969.
Okay. All right. I am not very punk rock at all. Right. I was I was like the surfer wannabe kid. So.
Okay.
Who also happened to be in Rodeo. So, yeah. Kind of a chameleon.
It's this drawing of this guy's screaming face. And it's just something like, that's something I think about every time I'm drawing, like the circles and just how it's laid out in there. There's the Jimi Hendrix Axis Bold as Love album cover, which is like, that's the greatest album. If my opinion, if you're designing, you should look at that cover and you should be listening to that album when you're designing.
Yeah. There you go. I love it. Wow.
There was a ton of really, really good albums and covers back then.
Yeah.
The Pink Floyd, they have an album called Uma Guma, and it's a very, very like out there album, but it's a picture of them, and they're all four of them there. And then there's a picture of them on the wall with all four of them. So it's the can't think of that word right now. Okay. Interstellar, is that what I'm looking for? Where it's
yep.
This, that, right. And it's different in each picture. And I always thought that was the coolest thing. Like, how did they do that?
Yeah. Well, can you do that now then?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, in Photoshop, it's super easy.
Yeah, Photoshop's pretty cool, huh?
Yeah,
awesome.
Yeah. I definitely think that the regulators out there, if I was to give you 3 albums, all right, I'm going to say they should be listening to Devo, Are We Not Men, We Are Devo. That is a classic album from the band Devo from Akron, Ohio. Bon Jovi, Slippery When Wet. I think that is one of the top 5 albums in my opinion. It's a great album. Put it on, don't take yourself seriously, and just rock out. And then there's a band from Canada called Broken Social Scene, and they have an album. This is a newer one from 2006 called You Forget It in People, and I think that one's great for creativity too.
All right. I just wrote all those down. So again, I was not very punk rock, so I gotta come get some of this stuff to
and you said you were a surfer. I really like the Beach Boys, Dick Dale, the Ventures, all of that sort of thing. I've been in surf bands before, so
there you go. All right. Well, now, so we've got, I love this conversation though, Bo, because I think, from an overall standpoint, the listeners can be taking away, like Sheila said, filling out my playlist for today, certainly that's a bonus, but it's all about inspiration, right? It's all about kind of where you're finding this inspiration. And I think that's what, you've done so well of blending in, what you're trying to do with, hey, these are the things that inspire me, and I'm not going to take myself too seriously, right? I'm going to go rock out to Bon Jovi, but from that place, we're so much more just free to create cool stuff, and
We
that's
are, and so I'm going to start this way. I create a lot of things. There's a lot of things you got to create, and there's a lot going on up here outside the world, and not everything you create is going to look good. And it's going to suck, and just to put it bluntly. And I have this mentality where, like, sometimes you have to embrace the suck, that you suck, that you're not good at this, to get better. And you have to ask yourself, what can I do on this? What did I fail? Like, sometimes I just have to get a terrible idea out to get a better idea.
That's so good. That's so good.
And there's a photographer channel on YouTube, and his name is Peter McKinnon, and he is blowing up. And I don't know if you know him. I think he's Canadian, but he's a very good looking guy, and he's got it well made, and he's looks like he's all put together. But the thing is there's the Peter McKinnon effect, where it's like you haven't seen the last 10, 15 years of his failure and what brought him to that point. And you have to remember that the whole time you're doing all this with your inspiration and everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, wow, really good stuff there. Keep that coming, Bo. But I also want to talk about, kind of this idea of, not taking yourself too seriously, going back and embracing the punk rock and all that stuff. Obviously we're coming up with all the great things that it can do for us. Are there any challenges that, you have to overcome, especially as kind of the title here, kind of working in a professional or a corporate world?
Well, yeah, you really have to, it's hard to say don't take yourself, or it's easy to say don't take yourself too seriously, but you're going to get criticism and people are going to hate on you. You have to be able to filter that out, take what the good criticism, the bad criticism, figure it out. It's not always easy. Sometimes you go home and you don't sleep for days thinking about it, and it bothers you. Sometimes people say they're open, but they're not really.
Yeah.
I feel really bad. I wore the shoes yesterday, but I have what I call they're Vans Spicoli. They're checkerboard Vans.
Okay.
I think they're normal shoes. I think that we're in the decoration business, the garment business, the personalization business, and you should let yourself shine and show that you yourself are interesting and you're not just a used car salesman or something. No offense to them. But I've had people hate on me for wearing my Spicolis to the office before and saying that's not professional.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, to each their own, right? And I think it is really kind of about knowing reading the room a little bit in certain cases. But like you said, we're in the garment decorating industry, so I feel like I'm dressed up and I'm wearing a polo shirt, right? So that I don't wear a suit all that often, right? So how often do you wear a suit, Bo? Just on weekends, or?
Yeah, it is nice. I go home and I put my smoking jacket on and hang out at home and drink my cognac and all that sort of stuff. And I get my monocle on and my top hat.
I love it. Wow, I got to get a monocle. That's a good call.
No, but it is great, putting a suit on every now and again. There's nothing against that, and pretending like you're James Bond for the night.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and I think it's just all about kind of understanding what you're going for, right? Like you said, it's nice to change it up from time to time. So, all right.
And definitely when you're trying to be yourself, you really have to, and you have to be true to yourself. Like, is this elevating the company, or am I just doing this to do this? Is this taking the company somewhere? Is it elevating it?
Yep. Yeah, no, that makes a ton of sense, right? What's the point? Is it, how am I kind of, like you said, being true to yourself? I love that. So, okay,
yeah.
Well,
it is hard telling you 43 years of being punk rock in one sentence.
Couldn't just summarize that for me? Like, no, I'm not going to ask you that. All right. So I do want to talk about some memorable experiences, right? Where, like, you've talked about, things not always being great. Sometimes it's crap, right? Or whatever. And that's part of it, right? We just have to get it out there, and then there's going to be some gems in there. So any gems that stand out from past experiences where this kind of punk rock attitude helped that become something that you were proud of?
So I used to be a touring musician back in my early 20s, maybe to mid 20s. I left that because of I wanted to be professional and I wanted to have a real job for some reason back then. I wanted to grow up and I didn't realize that people don't grow up.
Okay.
I'm asking myself every day, what am I doing with my life? What am I going to be when I grow up?
Yeah.
But you'd go out on the road a lot and there was a lot of downtime. You're stuck in a van with three, four, five other stinky people. You're probably sleeping in that van, maybe on a picnic bench, in your early days. Sorry, that comment just
Sorry, distraction.
there was
Objects.
there was a squirrel outside.
I understand.
You really have to struggle for your art. And
Okay.
those days of all of that and going through all that and not knowing where you're going to be the next day, how you're going to get there. We had our van breakdown twice going to Omaha, Nebraska. Twice. Okay. I've never been to Omaha, never made it there. And to this day, I don't think that Omaha and me, sorry if you live there, but I don't think that we gel. I don't know. I've thought about trying it again. But being on the road, you talk to people and you get sick of talking about yourself in a way, which is weird. I'm talking about myself here, but you listen to people and you want to learn what brought you to the show. What gets you motivated? Tell me about you. What can I do for you that will bring you back for more and all of that sort of thing to keep me going on with my dreams. So I really do take what I learned on those early days on the road when I'm talking to customers here at Condi. What value are you looking for? What product are you looking for? I'm not going to try and sell you something that you're not, looking for. I really want to make the experience about you and what, the art and beauty, magic of sublimation. What can it do for you? What is the world of personalization for you?
Yeah.
That's
incredible. Yeah. Really, really good stuff there. That's how to take that and tune that into that. So
the whole punk rock thing, I don't really know if I'm punk rock. That was more of a let's get something up there that's interesting, get the views and the clicks and all that sort of thing.
Yeah. No, it's perfect. I think it's embracing your uniqueness though, I think is kind of what it felt like the point of this conversation today was all about. So all right.
A lot of people out there just like me.
Yeah. There's no one just like me. I'm very unique. So all right. Well, before we start chasing too many other shiny objects there, we're going to take a quick break. We'll come back and we've got lots of more stuff to talk about here. So hang tight, everybody. I want to share a little bit about what's happening over at our success group right now. As a small business owner, the journey can often feel overwhelming. It can feel like you're overworked, underappreciated, and alone. At our success group, we guide you to uncover the fundamentals necessary for success and lead you to fall in love with your business. We provide the foundational support and guide you towards a business that you love, not just a job that you dread. With OSG, we tackle aligning your business with your reason or purpose, defining a pricing strategy tailor-made for your business, and pave the way for you to identify your ideal customer. This is just scratching the surface. The mindset shift we provide is the game changer. We're here to support you every step of the way. Take a chance on yourself, trust in your potential, and let OSG guide your first steps towards lasting fulfillment. Go to osg.link/try-OSG. All right, there we go. So, Look, I want to get right back into this, though, Bo. There's some good stuff here, and it's been fantastic already. So I guess my next question is kind of give us, the regulators, give us some advice on how kind of expressing, we talked about punk rock idea being about expressing ourselves, our uniqueness, right? But how do we kind of tune that to a professional or corporate environment? What would be your piece of advice that you would share with somebody if they were asking you that?
That's a really hard question. I'm not sure I'm the best person to handle that question, maybe.
Well, that's why I want your take, right? Because it's all about perspective.
I wrote down notes on all of these questions and stuff, and I don't, You know, when you're trying to okay, so with coming onto this live, David told me to you know, make sure and tell them, you know, to partner up with artists and partner up with other people and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And I'm like, David, that's what you're going to tell them. I need to tell them what, you know, my story, because if I tell them your story, it's not going to be sincere, right?
Yeah.
You know, I am the artist that you're partnering up with.
Yeah.
So I you know, that's
awesome.
the thing, is just know who you are and make sure you're going to tell your story. Always be truthful to yourself. There's going to be pitfalls along the way. You're always going to run into things. And you know, David and I don't always see eye to eye. Sometimes, you know, we might get mad at each other. Not too mad though. We're friends and pretty, you know, we joke around a lot. But you know, have fun, and as you're growing and as you're showing them your unique style, you know, they're going to start respecting it. And it may be cliche to say something like, I'm your yin to your yang. You know, you can be worried about partnering up with people, where I'm worried about making art and making good things, you know, making sure people are happy and all that sort of thing is the general ending, you know, point of that. And this is something I created and I think it's great. I'm going to get up and show the camera a little bit. And this is just a sense of humor, you know, sometimes you got to have. This is our Chromolux. And this is a wanted poster that I did with David, you know, and somebody drew on there with some chalk, you know, a silly face and everything. And
that's awesome. That is really good.
Cash reward for them.
With the chalk on there too. How good. How good is that?
You know, you have fun. You have fun with those sort of things, and make sure that you're respectful to other people. You know, make sure it's okay to mess with your boss before you do it.
Yeah, exactly. You get that. And I think that's probably, you know, what you're telling me, what I'm hearing is definitely to understand that, right? There's got to be, like, we can be unique. We should be unique. And we need to express those things, but that doesn't mean that the way that we express those things doesn't potentially have consequences, you know, so again, making sure that you build that relationship and that rapport. And so David's in right there saying how funny.
He is right there.
There you go.
You know, and then a few weeks ago, David brought this one in, which is another piece of Chromolux here. And, you know, it's David from 1987 here. And, he said, you know, here, bring this in and show people, you know, you can razz on me a little bit. And, you know,
looking handsome though, man. That's great.
I know, look at that.
Yeah. Wow. Good job. Good looking picture.
But you know, this in my opinion is the world of personalization, you know. Eric, which I'm disappointed I've never met Eric.
Oh no.
And I think it's, I don't know, weird to say, but I really like his sick Eric embroidery emoji thing.
Yeah.
Not that he's sick, I just like it. And that's kind of where I'm not going to really show my coffee cup too close. It's kind of gross right now, but that's kind of like where I got this idea, you know. You know, have fun. That's what the world of personalization is. Have fun with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's perfect. That's going to lead me into my next question then, Bo. How can we infuse more fun into our kind of routines? And I mean, this is honestly, to me, regardless of what industry you're in, but obviously in our space here, what are some strategies that you use to just make sure you keep it fun and light?
I've had some pretty terrible jobs in my life. You know, Mike Rowe from is that show Terrible Jobs, Rough Jobs, Bad
Dirty
Jobs?
Dirty Jobs. Yeah.
I probably could have my own show on that.
Terrible Jobs with Rodeo Bo. Yeah.
Terrible Bosses, Terrible Times. You know, I think about stuff like that. And this is really like, truly like, wow, this is what I get to do for a living.
Yeah.
You know, I get to put funny pictures on things and have fun. And you know, we're going to talk about my Friday Live and my Friday Live people. I've seen Chuck in here. But you know, that's awesome. I really go home and talk about this stuff. And sometimes I don't want to leave work. Another trick I have is stupid. Something makes me mad. There's the pencil in the mouth technique. Okay. Putting a pencil in your mouth forces you to smile.
Huh. Okay.
Which then forces you like subconsciously to be happy, and then I laugh at myself that that's what I have to do to like get out of the situation.
Yeah.
Getting frustrated with something. Victoria, I share an office with Victoria and Doug. You know Doug DeWitt, I'm sure, and Victoria is David's daughter. I talk to myself. I sing to my computer all the time. When I'm frustrated, I can't find something. I opera sing to the computer. Sometimes I get up and dance around. Those are things I do to like keep myself happy. I don't know if you watched wrestling to get back into nostalgia back in like the 90s with the Attitude Era.
Absolutely.
Sometimes when I'm walking around, I pretend like I'm Vince McMahon storming down to the ring in his walk. These are secrets up here that I don't share with anybody.
Wow, we're getting all the secrets. I love it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good one.
If I need to pump myself up, I didn't do this today, but I will listen to Gloria Gaynor's I Will Survive before that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great things in life to like make yourself happy. Back in the day, I know this is probably our last question, but I used to walk around malls and people watch and all that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And you could get the smell of a pretzel, the nail salon, Cinnabon, and all those smells coming through there with the people watching and the garments. And you could interact with people without interacting with them and see how the world is. And I don't know, for some reason, that just made me really happy. Like commercialism, like consumerism and capitalism and the hustle and bustle of everything.
Yeah. There you go. And I think it's so awesome that, you're finding what works for you. It doesn't mean that that's going to work for everybody, but you've got to have your things, right? The pencil in the mouth. That's an awesome idea, right? For me, I make sure that I have a lot of pictures and kind of inspirational things around me. If you go into my office wall, it's even more covered than what's behind me here. It's just, that's kind of the way my brain works. Now, my wife, on the other hand, she likes it nice and calm and serene and not too much stuff going on. And so you just got to find what it is for you and what great, exciting. And I love the wrestling thing too. I actually was a huge wrestling fan, a big Goldberg fan personally. So
I still am a huge wrestling fan. The colors of them walking down to the ring and their, just the whole attitude, the colors of their costumes, the fabric. Yeah. I think it's great. The whole show, I just think it's great. And we do a thing once a year called Leather Mania, and that's the big WrestleMania of the year for the sublimation world here at Condi. Really? We did Subless Slam. I take all of that and put it in there, and that's nostalgia, ripping off and stealing, borrowing to create your own.
Yeah. 100%.
And I see Ramona was a typing monkey for many years. I made the choice not to do it anymore. That's the idea of like, Ramona might not listen to punk rock. She might not be into the Clash and the Sex Pistols and all of that sort of stuff. Yep. But she knew that, working a desk job wasn't for her, and she wanted to do it on her own and be free from all of that sort of thing. And be your own boss. I love it.
Yeah. No, so true. And that's the great part about our industry, Bo, is that, what you guys do there at Condi, you give people that opportunity to get away from being the typing monkey and become something more. And love it.
I do feel sometimes like I'm a hypocrite being like, you should quit your job so I can like my job better. But
no, that's not,
I'm not quitting my job here because I'm really enjoying it. But,
well, you're telling them to quit the job that they dislike.
Yeah.
And, if they find a job that they like, great. But
and Aaron, I want to say, I haven't said this yet, but there really are 2 or 3 people in this industry that have really helped me, made me feel comfortable. Joe Piazza was first and foremost. We kind of have a background together that we didn't know about. Nikki the Sassy Subber is another one that just, really helps me out. And you are, Aaron. We all have mental struggles in life and everything, some more than others. And sometimes you do help me, like just thinking about times with you and just thinking about your smile and just knowing that you're here. And, I think that everyone should know that.
Wow. I'm not sure how to reply to that. You actually might get me choked up too.
Thank you for everything you do. Like, you're an inspiration. You help me out in times and all that. I love your positivity. I try and match it most of the time.
Wow. Well, I love your positivity too. That's why I was like thinking, like, as we did this, like, you and I should do a show together, but then it would just be chasing shiny objects all around, and it would never get anything accomplished. So, but we'd have a heck of a good time. All right. Well, we are starting to kind of wind down here a little bit, but I do have a few other things. We're going to jump around a little bit on our outline, so you can just toss the notes at this point. But no, I'm kidding. Friday the 13th. Are you superstitious at all? You have any?
Oh yeah, that's one thing. There are some sort of weird things that I do, and some people save their documents, right?
Yep.
I never ever hit Control S. You always have to go to File, Save. It's the only way to do it. Control S is witchcraft and does not work.
Are there any other keyboard shortcuts that you find to be witchcraft? Or
no, just that one. For some reason, saving is very, very important.
Okay.
So
make sure you do it right. Get into File, go to Save as. Yeah. What a great piece of advice. And yes, Control S, witchcraft. Got it. Okay.
And I did choose Friday the 13th on purpose. I felt bad because I was like, oh, there's a Friday the 13th. It's like 2 months away, but that's my day.
I love it. Well, I think the regulars probably know, because obviously being a Friday show, we hit Friday the 13th, every time a Friday the 13th rolls around. But I was actually born on a Friday the 13th. So it explains a lot to people once they learn that for the first time. So, all right. Well, okay. First and foremost, how can people connect with you guys? I know we hardly talked. I mean, you showed us some awesome sublimation stuff. You're a huge part of what goes on over there at Condi. Where can listeners find you? Tell us a little bit about what you guys are doing over there at Condi, that kind of thing.
They can find me on the socials at Rodeo Bo. That's a pretty easy one to find me at.
Awesome.
At Condi, you can email me at fridaylive@condi.com, and I'll get that. That's a pretty easy one. Friday Live at condi.com. We do a Friday Live every Friday here. It's at 3:30 Central Time. The world revolves around Central Time.
Yes, it does.
I liked how you had all the times in there, and I'm like, man, I've been sucking at that. I need to get everybody's times up there. At 3:30 Central Time, it's we go about sublimation. We talk about a whole bunch of things. Today we're having the Friday the 13th live, and we're just going to be talking about things like AI and technology, how it can help your business. We're going to go through a few sublimatable things that you might not know about, but it's cool. It's going to be a lot of fun. Yeah, I'm at Condi. You can give us a call at 1-800-826-6332. Condi.com. Check it out. We're your number one shop for sublimation needs. Everything that you're going to ever need. It's a great place. There you
go. I love it. Well, make sure you guys are tuned in if you hadn't been to Rodeo Bo's Friday Lives. Yeah, fantastic. 3:30 center of the universe time, as we say. All right. Before I let you go, I have to get one more nugget of information out of you here. 2023 is winding down. What's your vision of the future for creativity in the decorating industry? What?
I think that I might have blown it with the AI thing, but I think AI is taking over. Love it, hate it, fearful, whatever. I think AI is really taking over with ChatGPT, Midjourney, DALL-E 2, the generative fill, and all of that in Photoshop. I think Canva even has one now. So blogs, emails, all of this stuff is going to be wrote by someone who didn't even have the time to read it. I think a lot of companies are going to get weeded out because they're not going to have the personalization in there. We at Condi don't use that stuff most of the time because we are about personalization. But I do think that things are going to get a lot better. We're going to be able to do a lot more things. We're going to have a lot more fun with it. And I think the garment decoration world is going to get a lot more cinematic, we'll say. I think it's going to be a lot more of a personalized cinematic experience.
I love it. Wow. And so true. I agree with you on all those things. And I appreciate that you mentioned, right, you can use all those tools, but the personalized aspect of it is where people tend to fall down, right? If it's just a copy and paste, it'll show. So I use the AI tools a ton, and then I personalize it after the fact.
It's a great for a starting point. Like you can get stuck there and you're like, I don't know how to write an email for this.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep, for sure. All right, sir. Well, this has been fantastic. Thank you
Yeah.
so much for your time and
Thank you.
putting up with the technical difficulties at the beginning. Hopefully that doesn't carry over into find some wood to knock on and we'll get you out of here. All right, sir. We'll talk to you very soon. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you, Aaron. Bye, everyone.
Awesome. Wow. What a great conversation. I so enjoy talking to Bo. I always look to him as like the positive person, and where, he's got that, to me, a great sense of humor that really gets people, laughing just for no reason sometimes. So yes, come back again, Bo. Ramona says so. We'll make that happen. I think having Bo on the show more than just this one time is very much needed. All right. Well, let's take a quick hit here. You can see above me on the screen, if you're tuned in live right now, tworegularguys.com/Reggies. The nominations are now open. So if you have not nominated yet, or if you've nominated already and you feel like you want to change it, you want to add Bo to your list of best guests on the Two Regular Guys. I will run through them here real quick with you guys just to give you a rundown of what the categories are one more time. And then I will get into the secret sauce. I know we're over the normal time, but since we started 10 minutes late, we actually still have time left in the show here. So, all right. So the first category is the 2023 Fresh Impact Product Awards, basically the best new product award for 2023. The next one is Customer Care Spotlight, is the customer service category. The next one is Industry Education Excellence Award, and basically to cover all the education, whether that's online or in person, or a channel, Friday Live with Bo, whatever that is, right? And I'm not trying to sway you guys. I'm just giving you examples, right? You put in whatever you want there. Let's see here. Decorators Hub Trade Show Award, basically the industry trade show that it has done the most for you. When you go to tworegularguys.com/Reggies, there's a listing of all of the categories before you get to the form where you put in your information, and you can open those up and get the full description in each of those things. So if just because I'm not sharing them now doesn't mean that you won't be able to go find that. The next category is the Rising Star Award. This is for the under 40 group. Bo just mentioned 43 years, so I think he's out. I know I'm out. So got to be under 40. We're not going to check driver's licenses, but do your best to make sure that they're under 40. The Women's Voice Award. This is the Women in Garment Decorating Award. And so just who's doing the most to create that inclusive and inspiring spirit that through the women's voice. So the next one is Two Regular Guys Podcast Guest Star Award. And then last but not least, kind of our quote unquote best actor, best actress type Academy Award level, the Industry Ambassador Award. And so that's happening again. tworegularguys.com/Reggies. And I will even put that in the comments. You can just click on it and open it up. So you can go there after we're done with the show. Maybe there we go. So we'll put that up there. Nominations close on November 9th. So you got a little bit, but time flies when you're having fun. So make sure you get over there and get your nominations in. Make sure that you're sharing with your friends on Facebook, social media, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, wherever that they need to go to tworegularguys.com/Reggies to highlight somebody from the industry. And we do ask that you nominate in at least 5 of the 8 categories, right? So we just want you to kind of do the work, right? Don't just show up for one person, and those votes will be tossed out. And so that's what's going on with the Reggies there. As far as other events that are happening, we talked to Cassie already. Printing United is next week, October 18th through the 20th in Atlanta, Georgia. I do have 2 sessions there. On Wednesday, October 18th at 2 p.m., I'll be doing pricing for profit, strategies for setting pricing that work for your business. And then the next day, on Thursday, October 19th at noon, I will be presenting Building a Strong Marketing Foundation, the key elements for attracting your ideal customers. I also get to be a part of a panel discussion on pricing on Thursday as well. Plus, going to be doing live podcasts from the podcast booth and checking into all of the news. So I'm looking at the 3 days that I'm there. and my calendar is just block. So I'm hoping to come back with lots of good information for you guys, the regulators out there, and looking forward to that. But I'm also looking forward to seeing any of you in person that we can see out there. So go to decorators.inc / and that's INK and then / expo, EXPO. Let's see what else is going on for me. We are already 3 weeks into a new live show called OSG Live, and it happens on Wednesday mornings at 7 a.m. Central Time, and then they're available to watch anytime after that. So tune in Wednesday morning. It's a collaboration between Tanya Deutscher, Becky Kotzer, and my wife, Kylene, and myself. So the four of us, we started being referred to as the Fab Four. So we'll see if that sticks. But you can tune in live at liveosg.com. I'll see if I can, I can't find that banner. Never mind. Not going to mess with it. And we will be back live this upcoming Wednesday morning. I'll be on there right before I head over to the first day of Expo over there. And then since Eric is sick, the half has been canceled again today. Depending on schedule and how things work at Printing United, there might be a chance that next week's half is also canceled. So it could be the 27th before we're back. But I don't know. What's that saying? The distance makes the heart grow fonder. Maybe that's what we're going for there. So anyhow, apologize for not being able to bring the half. It just with Eric being out and everything I've got to do to get ready, we decided that we'll take a couple weeks off here. So that is it. Terry, you can find all his stuff at terrycombs.com. Eric is the take up is also off today. So check out the archived episodes there and go to ericcampbell.com to learn more. But without further ado, I also promised you the secret sauce, and yes, Ramona, we will give them our best and tell them to get well. They're definitely important to us. I agree, and I appreciate the kind words though. Yeah, I keep forgetting them. Okay, so let's see here. Let's get into the secret sauce that you guys have been waiting for here. All right, the secret sauce for this week, it's effective time management. Actually, we'll get to this in 1 second. It's not really effective time management, but hang tight. So happy non-triskaidekaphobia day. As I mentioned, I was born on Friday the 13th, so go look that up, triskaidekaphobia. Today, are you guys ready for secret sauce that will add some serious flavor to your business? I know that many of you are juggling millions of tasks, and the clock seems to be your sworn enemy. Right? I was looking at the clock before, my enemy. But none of us actually have a time management problem. We have a priority management problem, right? Are we prioritizing the right thing? I actually had a friend yesterday tell me that we all think about free will and that we have free will, but what we should be focusing on are our free won'ts, right? For effective time and priority management, we have to adopt an uncommon mindset or a counterintuitive way of thinking. So when we're overwhelmed, what we need to do, instead of trying to do more and like this, we need to slow down and improve our foundation. So you might be thinking at this point, I don't have time for that, Aaron, right? Where am I going to find time to slow down? The customers are yelling, kids need dropped off, my holiday marketing isn't done yet, my task list just feels like it keeps getting longer and longer and longer, just as I'm listening to you right now, right? So if that's where you're at, right? Well, regulators, you've just stumbled upon your first project, your first working on, or as we talked about in last month's secret sauce, that working on idea, that's the foundation, right? So I want you to start by taking a close look at your jam-packed days in 2-week chunks. So to truly understand where your time goes, what I would suggest doing is doing a simple time study. You can use a time tracking tool like Toggle, or a simple yellow legal pad that you carry around with you. And just every time you start on a different task, write it down and write down the time, and then you can categorize that. So you're going to discover some things. And this is the magic trick to the whole time study scenario, is you're going to uncover those daily busy work tasks that you probably need to be delegating, or better yet, dumping altogether. You're going to discover where you're not making the most important thing. And then you're armed with that information, so you're more intentional about your business decisions. So I get it, right? Being hands-on in your business is critical. And I'm not suggesting that to go away from that, but I don't want you to underestimate the power of reevaluating, right? Simply cleaning off your desk or your workspace might open up all sorts of creativity, new problem solving, and really just better energy to get more done. So if you're ready for the piece de resistance, so to speak, of this whole thing, time blocking. Okay. So you've figured out you want to be more intentional. Yes, Aaron, you're right. I want to be more intentional about where I use my time. Well, time blocking is your friend. It is the process of planning your tasks as though they're appointments on your calendar, and you begin using your calendar for your to-dos, for your most important to-dos, as opposed to just an overcluttered task list. So I want you to start by reviewing your overall schedule and just identify any time slots that are available. And what I'd say is find times that you have the most energy, right? Are you a morning person? Then grab those morning hours. If you're better after you fueled up after lunch, then pick those times to schedule your priority items into your day. Now, these are the items that you need to get done for your business, not the items that others are demanding of you, right? So these are the improvements to processes, things like that. And here's what I would say. Ensure that these time blocks are free from interruption and distractions, right? So use something like a digital calendar or physical planner and just create these as recurring appointments. And each time block, I want you to make them a pillar that you plan the rest of your tasks around, right? So the important thing that what makes time blocking work is that you stick to this schedule religiously, right? If something urgent comes up, then yes, reschedule your time blocks accordingly. But I want you to view this appointment as if it's with the most important person you can think of, because honestly, it is with the most important person you can think of, which is you. So if you don't have any open time, no problem. I get it. Use that time study to unpack some opportunities. The key is really to be unwavering in that commitment, right? When you wholeheartedly commit to making the most important thing, you're going to unlock success faster than you think. Now, if time priority management is something that you struggle with, and I know a lot of people do, that's the biggest complaint that we hear a lot in our success group. This is an area that I've been thinking about since I was a teenager, and it's something I really, really am passionate about. So just reach out to me. There's no charge or anything like that. Just reach out to me directly at consultaaron.com. I will put that link in after the secret sauce here. I'll put that in the comments for you to go directly to consultaaron.com, and you can reach out to me directly there, and we can talk about how to better manage that priority management for you. So for more effective time management, the foundation is to switch your mindset to determine what the true priorities are for you, and then be 100% committed to making the most important thing the most important thing. Then the rest of the tasks will fill in around those. You'll have more clarity, you'll have more energy, and the tasks that really don't need doing will be easier to say no to, right? You can stop doing things that are unnecessary and reclaim your time and sanity. So this commitment will be your game changer and that spicy sauce that will flavor your business to perfection. All right. I love this comment from Rena here. Instead of putting my ducks in a row, I need to put my squirrels in a row. Time blocking is a game changer. I love it. Love it. All right. I said I'd put that link in there to reach out to me directly. Again, if this is something that you struggle with, I'm more than happy to help. It's a passion area of mine. All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks you guys for the patience. We have come to the close of another show here. And I just want to thank Bo for joining us today and all the great information. And I had such a good time. I had a blast. I also want to thank Cassie for continuing to be the anchor of the news segment each week. Terry, Eric, I hope you guys feel better soon. Can't wait to have you back. And Terry and I will be live from Printing United Expo next week. Same time. We booked that same time slot in their podcast area. And fingers crossed that everything works out. We will be recording it just in case that it doesn't go well, but we will be going live from Atlanta next week. Cassie will be with us live as well. She's got some available time to come join us and do the news in person. So that's going to be fun as well. And so again, 11 o'clock Eastern time, 8 a.m. Pacific time, wherever you're at, that's when we start next week. Until then, I am Aaron Montgomery. I had to check that. I had to read that. No, I'm just kidding. I'm Aaron Montgomery. I'm the one remaining standing guy for this week. And that was the Two Regular Guys podcast.
Here we go. We're out.
Awesome.
Thank you for listening to Two Regular Guys. Check out our website at tworegularguys.com. That's the number 2, regularguys.com. You can also interact with us over at our Facebook page, facebook.com/tworegularguys, or send us a tweet, twitter.com/tworegularguys. And we have a YouTube page. You can find all that from our website, tworegularguys.com. Thanks for tuning in, and we look forward to spending some time with you again next week.